Honorable Mayors of Shkodra City, distinguished guests, dear professors and participants, welcome. We are delighted to have you here to participate in the third scientific conference on research and education, Challenges Toward the Future 2015. Thank you for coming. That many of you travel long distances to come to our university serves to remind us all how important our work is. Professor Mimosa Prico, the Dean of the Faculty of Social Sciences, will share us with the opening keynotes.
Honorary Vice Rector of University of Shkodra, Honorary Rector of University of Business and Technology, distinguished academics, dear authorities, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. I am honored to welcome to third International Conference on Research and Education, organized by the Faculty of Social Sciences and Faculty of Education Sciences at the University of Shkodra and University for Business and Technology in Kosovo. Allow me, in my name of our academic staff and in my personal name, to wish you welcome to the city of Shkodra. Welcome to the University of Shkodra and welcome to our faculties. Special thanks go for all partners who are part of the organization of this conference, the trusted of this conference. I would like to thank all participants who contributed with their research papers in this event. I want to thank the BESA Foundation that support our initiative. Two faculties, Faculty of Social Sciences and Faculty of Education Sciences, have already established from 3 years a close collaboration between them. But this year we have a new partner, University for Business and Technology in Kosovo. We are very appreciative that many international scholars have accepted our invitation to attend in this conference. There is a good tradition at this conference to share our ideas and exchange our thoughts in academic and scientific field. Nowadays, our universities are promoters of new ideas related to new standards in higher education and the quality in research. I hope this conference will serve to expand our collaborations in new directions. I am confident that we are greatly benefit from the scientific research papers that will be presented during this conference and these ideas and conclusions that will be made the object of our work of the future. I wish you all productive discussion over the next 2 days. Enjoy your stay in our city of Shkodra and keep in memory its beauty, warmth and hospitality. Thank you.
On behalf of the University of Shkodra, Professor Fatmir Vadai, the Vice Rector of Shkodra University, will share with us the greeting speech.
Të nderuar kolegë dhe bashkëpunëtorë, ju uroj të gjithëve mirë se ardhe në Universitetin e Shkodrës Lojz Gorakuqi. Zhvillimi I kësaj konference të titulluar Kërkimi dhe edukimi, sfidat dhe së ardhmes në universitetin tonë është shumë domethënës. Institucioni ynë është një ndër universitetet me tradita në Republikën e Shqipërisë, si dhe është një ndër të parët institucionet të arsimit lartë që ka nisur rrugtimin drejt modeleve të përparuara europiane. Ne shprehim konsideratat tona për organizatorët e veprimtarisë që janë Fakulteti I Shkencave të Edukimit, Fakulteti I Shkencave Shoqërore në Universitetin e Shkodrës dhe Universiteti për Biznes e Teknologji Kosovë. Kjo konferencë është një ngjarje e rëndësishme për universitetin tonë, sepse në të paraqitet një punë mirëfillt shkencore e studiuesve dhe kërkuesve të stafeve akademike të disa universiteteve të njohura shqiptare, ballkanike, europiane, amerikane dhe me gjërë. Temat kryesore të artikujve përfshin fusha studimore të ndryshme si albanologji, art, ekonomi, kulturë, arsim i lartë, teknologji e informacionit dhe komunikimit, media komunikim, filologji, sporte, shkenca shoqërore, kërkim shkencor e tjerë. Qëllimi i organizimit të kësaj konference të madhe shkencore ka mbinin se i shërben më së miri promovimit dhe zhvillimit procesit të edukimit të kërkimit shkencor, çka përbën edhe sfidën themelore për arsimin e lartë në përgjithësi. Konferenca shërben në të njëjtën kohë edhe për të diskutuar së bashku rreth problemeve që shqetësojnë sot arsimin e lartë, rreth mundësive dhe domosdoshmërisë që të përshtatet sa më mirë kërkesave që shoqëria sotme shtron para tij. Proceset reformuese, të cilave arsimi i lartë shqiptar po i nënshtrohet, kërkojnë që universitetet të dalen nga akademizmi i mbyllur dhe të kthehen në partner të dobishëm për shoqërinë, duke mbështetur në vazhdimsi kërkesat e saj për zhvillim. Ato kanë për detyrë të përshtasin politikat e tyre me strategjitë rajonale të zhvillimit, me ato kombëtare apo me gjërë, në mënyrë që të përgatisin brezat aftë për sfidat që kemi përpara. Kumtesat që do mahen, shpresoj se do t'jenë burimi i mirë informacioni për gjitha sferat që ato prekin. Këto kumtesa dhe prezantime do të shërbejnë studentëve tanë, por edhe kolegëve të mi, aq më shumë në kontekstin e proceseve të integrimit që po kalon universiteti. Do të shpreh konsiderat edhe për kontributin e pedagogëve tanë, të cilët me punën e tyre kërkimore shkencore janë pjesëmarrës aktiv në këtë konferencë ndërkombëtare. Në dekadat e historisë së tij, Universiteti i Shkodrës ka kaluar ngjarje dhe faza të rëndësishme. Vitet e fundit, institucioni ynë ka qenë mjaft promovues për organizime dhe pjesëmarrjen në konferenca të tilla, si dhe ka përjetuar së bashku me universitetet e tjera të vendit ndryshime me të vërtet mëdha. Edhe një herë, ju falenderoj për prezencën tuaj sot dhe ju uroj punë të mirë në zhvillimin e kësaj konference të rëndësishme shkencore. Faleminderit.
Mayoress Mrs. Voltana Ademi is going to convey with us the greeting message on behalf of the municipality, the partnership between the municipality and Shkodra University.
Mirdita të gjithëve, i nderuar zoti zëvendës rektor Universitetit të Shkodrës, profesor doktor, asistent doktor Fatmir Vadohej, i nderuar rektor Universitetit të Edukimit për Biznes dhe Teknologji, profesor Edmond Harizaj, të nderuar dekan të fakulteteve nga Universiteti i Shkodrës, profesor akademik, por jo vetëm edhe nga partner tanë, agjenci apo universitete në Bosnjë e Hercegovinë, Shtetet Bashkuara të Amerikës, Kosovë, Itali të pranishëm në këtë konferencë. Për mua është një kënaqësi të marr pjesë në këtë konferencë për trajnimin, edukimin, kërkimin shkencor. Si pjesë e dikurshme e stafit akademik të këtij universiteti, njeh përgjegjësinë që sot si kryetare e Bashkisë Shkodrës të krijoj, të mundësoj lidhje edhe më të mira, më të forta, bashkëpunimi midis dy institucioneve. Universiteti, si institucioni dijes dhe kontribues në zhvillimin e mirëqenien e një shoqërie, ka ndikim të rëndësishëm edhe në jetën e vetë Bashkisë së Shkodrës, territorit të Shkodrës, duke qenë se aty ndërlidhen shkenca, ekonomia dhe vetë jeta e komunitetit. Në këtë kontekst, një marrëdhënie e mirë bashkëpunimi e qëndrueshme në zhvillim mes Universitetit të Shkodrës Luigi Guarakuqi dhe Bashkisë së Shkodrës, mendoj që do të ketë ndikime të drejtë për drejta në përmirësimin e jetës së të dyja institucioneve, në aspektin institucional, por jo vetëm në aspektin shoqëror, dhe të zhvillimit të një jete qytetare në shërbim të komunitetit. Universiteti i Shkodrës Luigjë Gurakuqi vlerësohet në Shkodër, por jo vetëm në Shkodër, si burim ekspertize dhe njohurish që ndikon drejt për së drejti në zhvillimin ekonomiko-social, kulturor, të turizmit, mjedisor, arsimor dhe në zhvillimin e territorit. Bashkia e Shkodrës në programin e saj ka disa prioritete për bashkëpunim të mundshëm në mbështetje reciproke në partneritet mes dy institucioneve. Ne kemi diskutuar bashkë me profesorët e universitetit dhe besoj që do të mundësojmë një diskutim më të thelluar për të programuar, planifikuar në vijim gjatë viteve krijimin pranë Bashkisë së Shkodrës të fondit për kërkim shkencor për zhvillimin e territorit, ku fushat e mundshme ndër të cilat ne mund të mbështesim që i shërbejnë zhvillimit të territorit të Bashkisë së Shkodrës janë zhvillimi ekonomik, turizmi, kultura, psikologjia, teknologjia e informacionit dhe sportit, për të cilat universiteti jon e ka ekspertizën, ka kualifikimin dhe punon. Ne mendojmë që do të mund të punojmë për krijimin e fondit të ekselencës pranë pushtetit lokal, për studentët me qëllim mbështetjen dhe promovimin e të gjithë atyre që dalin rezultate të shkëlqyera, të cilët sipas përvojës do të mund të përfshihen nga Bashkia e Shkodrës me qëllim promovimin e meritokracisë dhe integrimin social. Gjatë ditëve të para të punës në institucionin vendor të Bashkisë Shkodër, unë gjykoj që pushteti lokal ka shumë nevojë për njerëz të trajnuar mirë, të edukuar mirë dhe sidomos që në kuadër të një nevoje, të një hapjeje për përdorimin e teknologjisë së informacionit, për përdorimin e instrumentave inovativ, të jenë të afërt dhe të mund t'i përqafojnë sa më shpejt këtë njohuri. Pushteti lokal ka nevojë për ekspertë të tillë dhe në këtë aspekt unë mendoj që bashkëpunimi me universitetin duhet të jetë gjithnjë edhe më i afërt. Ne do të mund të punojmë në njohjen dhe aplikimin në programet e Bashkimit Evropian. Eksperiencë që ka ekzistuar edhe më përpara në bashkëpunimin vendor me universitetin. Bashkëpunimin jo vetëm me Universitetin e Shkodrës për aplikimin në programet që mund të financohen në Bashkimin Evropian, por edhe me organizata të tjera ndërkombëtare për projekte të përbashkëta për zhvillimin komunitar në territorin e Shkodrës. Bashkia e Shkodrës do të bashkëpunojë me universitetin drejt hapësirave ndërkombëtare të bashkëpunimit. Një shembull i mirë është edhe ky sot, duke synuar vazhdimin e traditës së projekteve të përbashkëta të realizuara nga ky universitet, edhe me universitetet e tjera jashtë Shqipërisë dhe institucione të tjera ndërkombëtare. Këtë konferencë e shoh si një mundësi të mirë për të shkëmbyer eksperiencën më të mirë që kemi në fushën e mësimdhënies, në atë shkencore, sepse kjo eksperiencë mund dhe duhet të shërbejë si garanci për të përballuar sfidat që sot në nivel territorial, por edhe kombëtar paraqiten. Sekretari i Bashkisë së Shkodrës ju ftoi që krahas konferencës të mund të qëndroni këndshëm në Shkodër, të mund të shijoni bukurinë e Shkodrës, natyrën, trashëgiminë kulturore, historike të artit që ofron qyteti jonë. Unë i uroj punë të marrë të gjithëve, shpresoj shumë që kontributi të gjithëve të jetë i vlefshëm jo vetëm për universitetin, jo vetëm për profesorët, jo vetëm për studentët, por sidomos edhe për institucionet vendore, edhe për Bashkinë e Shkodrës. Faleminderit.
Professor Darko Petkovic, the floor is for you. The professor is going to share with us the topic titled External Evaluation and Accreditation, Experience and Proposal for Albania, Challenges and Perspectives.
Yeah. Okay. Honorable Rector, Vice Rector Vadohi, Honorable Mayor of the city, dear Professor, Assistant, Student, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your invitation to be today with you and to share some of my and institutional experience in the process of external evaluation in the past 10 years in Bosnia and Herzegovina and the region of West Balkan countries. I am coming from State University of Zenica, which is a small university with 6,000 students. Zenica is a city similar with Shkodra with 100,000 citizens. In next 10 minutes, I will give some of my experience and institutional experience. In every case, a country which I am living and when I am coming, Bosnia is not so respective country for giving recommendation for other, but I hope that will be useful for you and also for other countries in our region. My presentation will cover several topics about state of the higher education institution in West Balkan countries, some words about external and internal evaluation, process of accreditation, importance of development quality management system at every higher education institution, and some words about university ranking, which is now very popular in whole Europe and normally in whole world. All of us know very well what are the key roles of universities in every country, in every city. Three missions are very important: education, research, development, and innovation work. And normally third mission, communication with social sciences, with environment. With the Western Balkan universities, we have also very important task to help countries of West Balkan to exit from poverty and become countries from prosperous and safe life. Higher education institutions in whole Europe today are under pressure of Bologna process. Universities are in the process of internalization. Also, we are witnesses of process of privatization in every country of West Balkan. You will find many private universities, many new universities which are open at the last 10 years. One process which is also very important is mobility. Unfortunately, in cases of West Balkan countries, in many cases it's so-called brain drain and problem with mobility. Also, we are fighting and adjusting for students, for budgets, for donation, for grants, projects, and other things. In this moment in Bosnia and Herzegovina, there is exactly 48 higher education institutions. Before the war, we have 8 state universities. Today, we have 8 state universities and more than 40 private universities. In Albania, that is also very broad network of private state universities, and as I know, there is a list of about 12 to 15 different higher education institutions. In the whole region of West Balkan countries, in this moment we have more than 350 higher education institutions: Albania, Croatia, Bosnia, Bulgaria, Macedonia, Montenegro, Romania, and Serbia. There is 53 million of citizens, and in comparison with Germany, which is about 320 universities, and a population which is more than 80 million, the situation is clear that we have a rapid growing of higher education institution in West Balkan countries, especially at the last 10 to 20 years. Who is responsible today for external evaluation and accreditation at national level? In many countries of West Balkan, that is national agencies for higher education. In some countries, that is ministries at the national level, for example, Montenegro, Serbia, Albania, and other. At some countries, that is ministries at the regional level. That is mistake in my presentation. For example, in Bosnia, ministries at the cantonal level are responsible for accreditation and external evaluation at the university. Similar situation we have in Belgium or in Spain, which is agency for Catalonia is responsible for all Catalan universities, not to whole Spain. Also, there is a special agencies which work in some field, as a ASIN agency from Germany, which works in field of technical sciences, FIBA, which works in social sciences, economics, and other. What are the topics for evaluation, accreditation, and licensing today? There is, in one side, higher education institution as one body, for example, university, faculty, or department, or study program. There is big discussion what is priority for institution, either accreditation of whole body or some program. In the case of Germany, only 20% of study program are accredited because it's a really very expensive job. And if you want to, in Albania, for example, to follow the rule that all study program must be accredited, if you really want honest process, that costs minimally 10 to 20,000 euro per one program. If you are calculated at the national level how many programs you have, it's a huge amount of money. And really, in Germany, they stopped the process of accreditation of study program because it's very expensive also for German institution. In Belgium, you have cluster accreditation, which covered so-called one side study program and one side institution. That is cheaper way for accreditation. And similar approach used now Romanian government because they have also same problem with rapid growing of higher education institution. Several months ago, I was member of accreditation team which passed the evaluation process at Technical University in Bucharest, and Romanian government give this job to German government, and German government nominate the list of experts for this kind of process. What show the practice in this moment in country as Albania or Bosnia or Serbia? All higher education institutions passing successfully external evaluation. The main part of study program are licensed, and evaluation and accreditation becomes simply bureaucratic procedure. Reason for that are many. There is no clear standard which higher education must fulfill. There is a great influence on politics in decision-making process. Commission in many cases are not qualified and autonomous in the work. Commission in many cases are not competent for this kind of very sensitive job, and there is a mix of different interests in informing of commission, former students, graduates, relationship with universities, and other things. That is a reason why in this moment all institution passes exactly the process, and that we always have proposal from commission that some university or higher education institution need to be accredited for this job. What we need to change? My proposal is also for national agency in Bosnia to that the first round of external relation organized with great impact of foreign experts. For example, 5 foreigners plus 2 domestic experts. Unfortunately, my proposal for Bosnian National Agency was rejected. I was member of steering board in our national agency, and really there is no chances to change some kind of approach. In this moment, we have 4 domestic experts and 1 foreigners. In many cases, foreigners comes from Serbia or Croatia, which are also good relationship to arrange some successful result. Big problem comes also from institution. Internal evaluation report need to be presented objectively with deep criticism. In many cases, it's not a situation because universities always show situation better than it's in real. Internal evaluation reports must be worked on daily, the whole university, and to cover the separate department. Especially need to analyze key performance indicator and to carefully analyze conclusion which comes from this list of indicators. Program of improvement need to be carefully planned and managed. And one very important fact that every institution needs to develop own quality management system and work with the right way. There is no prescription which kind of quality management system every institution needs to develop. It depends on the institution. Do you have any quality management unit at every faculty or quality officer at university level with network at the faculty level? But in every case, all professors, students need to be involved in this process. And one thing which is very important to arrange benchmarking at the national and international level. Many things are well known, and through benchmarking process, university will recognize benefits and possibilities for improvement. Some data which is right as alum data. In this moment, if you look at Webometrics list, among 5,000 high education institutions in the world, Albania have no one institution. From Bosnia there is 5, Bulgaria 16, Croatia 8, Romania 29, Serbia 6, Montenegro 1, and Macedonia 1. You remember that we have more than 359 high education institutions in the region of West Balkan. At the Shanghai list, there is only 3 institutions. Belgrade University is in position of 350, Zagreb University at 400, and Ljubljana University at 300, as about list in the 500. What is the problem for ranking? What was the problem? The main problem comes from articles which are in the science citation index with the journals with the impact factor. If you look at the list from Shimago data from the last year, you will see that at this list, Montenegro normally is the smallest country, is the bad position, but with the green flag, with the green color is Albania, and you will see that it's about 300 articles, not more. The key problem comes from this data. Normally, articles need to follow the projects. There is no articles in scientific journals without a project. And proposal for all Western Balkan universities are deep involvement in international projects, international programs as a horizon, as a frame program in previous time, or other European members. That is data for Albanian universities for Webometrics. If you look at carefully Webometrics list, you will see that excellence rank and impact rank coming mainly from the journal's data. Your University of Shkodra is in the list in the 12,507. That is position of Albanian University 3 months ago. Recommendation for Albanians and other West Balkan countries. My proposal is that external evaluation process need to be given to foreign competent experts and organization agencies, or to develop own model in which you will involve foreign experts. That process, in that case, process will be honest and I'm sure very positive for improvement. Normally, in every kind of this process, it's very important to have domestic stakeholders, people from business sector, from former student and others. Clear definition of standard should be made. Own model of quality management system at every higher education institution must be recognized. Internal evaluation reports should be made honestly and deep critically. Internally, my suggestion is that internal evaluation done every year, not only when you start the process of external evaluation. Very important fact that you need to work this kind of job every year, and that it's good tool for deans, for rector, vice rector, for improvement. I have rejection at my university 10 years ago when we started internal evaluation every year. Why we are working every year? What is the reason for that? Why University of Sarajevo don't work every year? We don't want to work this kind of job every year, because it's a really huge job which you need to design every year. Trends analyzed and key performance indicator carefully observed, and finally, action plan for quality improvement need to be defined and controlled. Thank you for your attention.
We invite Professor Robert McLeod to represent his work titled Wearable Computing, Sneaking Risks to Personal Security. The floor is for you, Professor.
Thank you. It's a great pleasure for me to return to Shkodra, where I have been a visiting professor, and I'm very grateful to Joseph for inviting me back once again to see my friends in Shkodra and in all of Albania. So thank you for this invitation. I would like to report today on a bit of research that we started in a classroom in the United States, in one of my classes. And one never knows, you know, when you start some research, where it's going to go or what is going to happen with it. In this particular case, I noticed that the students were wearing on their wrist Fitbit. Could I ask, does anybody wear Fitbit around, or have you heard? Oh, good. Perhaps this will be an introduction. Well, Fitbit tracks all your steps and uploads them to a database on the network, on the internet, and it allows you to see your health and your calories burned and your food eaten and things like that. It is part of the wearable computer industry, which is huge. In fact, nobody knows now whether it's 10 billion a year or 100 billion per year. You know, there's all these experts giving their opinions on how big various things. We don't really know, but we know it's big. We know it's a major growth industry. By 2020, it's expected to be 5% of all sales all sales of items in the world. Now, I noticed that our students were very willing to share their data. So the Fitbit works kind of like a smartphone. Um, and it allows you to, in fact, it's Apple Watch is the other item that it is very closely compared to. And I noticed that our students were sharing data with each other, and we're putting all this data onto the internet. So I went and got a grant, and 18 members of the class bought new ones, and we all hooked our stuff up together and started to share and started to see what was happening. So this is what we're running around wearing, and I'm sure if they haven't gotten to Albania, they will be here soon, infiltrating your lives much as they've infiltrated ours. And you can track every moment of your life and share it with the world. Now, this started me thinking, all our personal data is going somewhere. So it's on this social sensor network. Your user information is being tracked every minute of the day, and you are willingly giving up this information. And the folks at Fitbit have become absolute specialists at giving you these little smiles and these little cheery things that you see that make you feel that you trust them and that you are giving up your data personally, all the data about your life. For example, it charts, yes, you can see the chart there, that every step you take is uploaded for the world to see on the internet. Your fitness for the week, this happens to be my own fitness. I see that, I take 1 or 2 days of not being very fit every week, and the world is able to know that. And these companies have become experts at giving you little rewards, which Nintendo was the best one. This happens to be Mario Kart Driver, that Nintendo learned early when they were developing their games that we, human beings, are extraordinarily susceptible to pats on the back, telling us, oh, you are so good. In fact, it was one of the first persons who told me about this was Professor Sula, my colleague who is here. Her son, who's 4 years old, plays games with me, and he regularly beats me. And then he pointed out to me one time that I was making a character cry. And there the character was crying on the scene as a result of my ineptitude at the game. And I realized that these companies have made us become emotionally involved with our virtual lives. I just put this one quote that one of my students wrote as part of our research. I got the buzz today. I stopped right in my tracks. I told my friend right away, and I felt super accomplished. Now, how is it that the screen is taking control of our emotional life? These people have become such experts at that they trust us to share our behavior. And we're talking about the future here today, and a suggestion of my talk is that we should watch the security aspects of these wearable computers and the Apple Watches becoming popular, I believe, in Albania. Okay, well, you're subject to it too. You'll soon have Fitbits joining the Apple Watches. And as Albania becomes more closely allied with the EU, I would suggest that perhaps we might want to make some gestures toward joining with the EU, which is currently investigating what happens to all our data. This is just from a survey. All the references for this talk are on the last slide. I sort of put my email up there, and everything that I'm saying today is being published in a book by the U.S. publisher Wiley, and it will be coming out next month. But I'd be glad to share with you this particular chapter. If anybody wants to just write me, you can get all the detail and all the references, because it is becoming very important in the EU, which currently has a study committee looking at this data and where does it go. And you can see that over half the people feel they've been asked for information, which they willingly give up, and that it's probable that their data has been compromised. Now, what happens is we have users who are befuddled, right? Nobody understands the privacy regulations, because I'm sure we've all clicked this thing, yes, I agree to the terms of service. And my guess is, I mean, is there anybody here who reads the terms of service? Okay, you're all as bad as I am. I never read them either. We all just say, yes, I want to get on with this, and click ahead and willingly give up our lives. We don't have time to wade through the policy's legal structures. And often we see that we're getting some economic benefit by giving up our data. The odd thing is that it would be very simple for governments to protect our data. All they have to do is address the issue of opt-in versus opt-out. Now, currently, all sites, or almost all sites, there's a few who are very protective of us, but almost all internet sites ask us to opt out. That is, if you are not willing to have your data shared, you have to figure out a way to tell them. Now, it would be very easy, and as a computer science professor, I know that this would take up 8 bits of data. 8 bits, a tiny little amount, would be all that would be necessary to put in there to have one binary file turned on or off, so that you could opt in to share your data instead of them telling you, we will share your data and you must opt out. This makes privacy dependent on our action. So we have to tell these sites like Fitbit that we have to take steps to prevent you from sharing our private data. Instead of Fitbit saying, give us permission to share your data. I keep repeating how simple this is that it would be to change. So control over our personal lives is given up to the internet sites. Now, one reason is they have these very densely worded statements. Opt-in would require us to give up our rights. Opt-out makes us whoops, I don't think I'm finished. Makes us into a commodity. Let's see here. Didn't mean to be finished. Okay, well, my last 2 slides, I think, have disappeared into the internet. So let me just tell you what happens, and you won't be able to read them. But is it possible to get to the saved for? All right, okay, let me just tell you in the interest of time. What these sites do is they sell your data to companies like DoubleClick, Yahoo, Facebook, all the major advertising sites. They tell you they are protecting your data, but then deep in the terms of service, they tell you that if you don't want your data sold, You have to go to each individual site, Google, Facebook, all the big sites, and tell them not to use your data. There are 13 different major sites that Fitbit shares your data with, and I'm picking on Fitbit only because I know it. It's not that they're any better or worse than any other site, but unless you go to those 13 sites that it shares with, your data just flows for the world to see. Now, what's my recommendation? My recommendation is that technological progress is not always good, and that what Albania and every other European country should do, unfortunately the US, it's not going to happen. We're too wedded to the capitalist system. We're doomed. But the European Union is studying this, and my recommendation is that Albania joins with the EU study group and implements an opt-in policy instead of an opt-out policy. Okay, thank you. Just turn this off here. Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Professor. Professor Edmond Harizi, Rector of University Education for Business and Technology in Kosovo, is going to share with us the partnership and prospective collaboration between Shkodra University and University Education for Business and Technology.
Faleminderit. Me që ka përkthyes, unë do të vazhdoj në shqip, nderuara kryetare, nderuari vice rektor, dekane, profesor të nderuar nga universitetet partnere, profesor, student, media, edhe unë ndihem shumë i privilegjuar dhe me rastin e pjesëmarrjes në kuadër të kësaj konference faktikisht me titull Edukimi dhe ulëmtimi dhe sfida që lidhen me këto dy tema. UBT është një institucion okay, it's not okay, we will continue in English because the translation is not here. It's my pleasure and honor to be here in this international event, and I'm representing here UBT, the University for Business and Technology from Kosovo, from Pristina. It's a relatively new institution. We will have 15 years anniversary in the next year. So it's just a new higher education after the post-conflict or the transition time. But I think we succeed something we have about 10,000 students now. We have about 400 staff. And we are more focused on the technology and an engineering school because we consider this may be kind of value add on higher education in Kosovo, but as in the region. We are the largest ICT school in Balkan. We have every year about 800 new students only in computer science. And this year our students get the first place in the NASA competition, worldwide competition. It was a competition that you have to apply with some solution for challenges, world challenges, and they get the first place. Also in robot soccer, our students get the first place in Europe. So there's a kind of emotional, positive emotion, kind of, let's say, motivation to say why we should not do something different and go forward. Be part of international development, be part of international standards. UBT is accredited from our national accreditation agency, which is a member of ENCA, the European Accreditation Umbrella for Quality, which is Kosovo and Serbia has a full membership. The rest of countries from the Western Balkans still are not full member. They have to be part of it. So in this case, we had an international evaluation permanently from Europe and evaluate the content and the quality in general. This all has been made it thanks an international cooperation. So I want to mention and strengthen the internationalization, the international cooperation with partners worldwide, especially from European Union and as the United States. In this contest, we came together as with University of Škoda. So we get and we win a project in Erasmus Mundus for Western Balkan, and we are partner there for 4 years. And we just get to know each other more and more. And we saw that there is a kind of feeling, there is a kind of arguments to work more closely. We get as another cooperation as a partner, both Škoda and UBT in Hungary, in University of Pest. So we met also there with Professor Josef on accreditation, on quality assurance, on research and so on. So then we say, okay, let's see what we can do a little bit more, because there are elements for cooperation. There are some trends that we should consider our regional cooperation more and more. You know, in education, we consider that we can have some joint study programs. They are very strong in some fields. We are very strong in some fields. So I think we can join some competences and some knowledges, and we can generate some value add, some new competences from the people here in Kosovo and in Albania and in region. There is also a trend to create more mobility in the regional level, so-called Western Balkan mobility, like you have Erasmus in Europe, to have as a Balkan mobility between students and staff within in a short distance. And I think there is a great potential because we have the same language, the same culture and history. So it's make very good and easy to work together on this process and to continue on it. There is also another element I saw, which is as a kind of culture in this conference, a so-called transdisciplinarity approach. So together with University of Škoda and together also with other partners from other universities to generate something else. And I think this is as a very, very interesting for us, and we wanted to share this part. From the research side, we have, as you know, there is as a regional strategy for Western Balkan on research and innovation 2020, and there is a very focus on infrastructure, on competences, and on excellence. So in this case, we miss sometimes all competences as a small university. So we have to share competences in order to generate kind of a center of excellence for something else. So there is a need, there is a conclusion that it's necessary to be an international, an regional cooperation in order to generate some high competitiveness on research and innovation among all the regions in Europe. So in this case, there is let's say an interest from all sides. But also we see the part of regional development, tourism, and so there are elements that motivate us to cooperate, and I think we will work and have a very good cooperation with the university. So in this case, I have to thank all contributors for the conference, and special Dean Mimosa, Gizim, and Professor Josef, that they invited me and the UVT to be part of this conference and to have really a very good cooperation. Thank you very much, and I wish all the best.
Thank you, Professor, for your kind words. Professor Adriana Galvani is one of the best collaborators from Italy, and today the professor is here to share with us the paper titled Research and Higher Education.
Good morning to everyone. Thank you to all people for not only for inviting me, but for the friendship, for the good friendship contacts we have with all people here from all the faculties. And this is important because, as Professor Edmond told us, important today is the transdisciplinary. That is more than interdisciplinary. That is very, very more. For that reason, I also try to put in my research many more disciplines, all connected in education. But education involves all the personality. And then we are trying also to go at the deep of our personality. And then I am grateful to Professor Joseph and Professor Mimosa for speaking about genetics in their work. Because me too, I am now interested in genetics. Because I think, no, we all know that our brain has many possibilities to develop. We are very developed, but we have more possibilities. Someone says 5,000 more could be developed our brain. In order to develop our brain, we are compelled to go back at our ancestors, at our first men on the earth, because they had some experience we lost. And then in order to restore the old ancestral and or archaeological competencies and anthropological competencies, we can develop more and more. For example, I studied the development of women because not only because I am a woman, but because in this year we are celebrating at United Nations. Sorry, I am working for United Nations. We are celebrating the 20 years of the Beijing chart. It's not China very involved in study on women and female education, but it was because United Nations met in Beijing in '95. And then this chart is very important because it is restoring and going back to the human rights chart of 1948. This is the main step of our evolution, of our history, of our cultural evolution. But in 48, there is not so strong interest in women. And then in Beijing, they studied that, and later also in Istanbul, they programmed a chart for women evolution. This interest in women is also studied at the European Parliament, because near the European Parliament there is a human rights assembly. And then also I participate in last month, in April, I participated to human rights conferences. And then we discovered a lot of things. For example, that education is more important for women, because they have to restore maybe something lost in the past. But our studies discovered that in average, women are more clever than men in education. Women have more results. They are used to work more than men at school. And then, for that reason, we cannot lose these potentialities. And then, for that reason, we have to restore and to give more to women because they are less involved in school, but they are more clever. And then, also, we have to teach more to men in order to respect women, because in many countries nearby, maybe at the east, Middle East, there is not a respect for women. And then the OECD is an organization for economic and cultural cooperation. They discovered that if we don't teach women, we lose half the potentiality of our humanity. That is too big. We cannot lose half of our humanity. And women are probably more than half because they live more on average than men. And coming back to genetic new discoveries, we are now finding very strong information. For example, that is not true what our religions are saying, that we female are born later or after men, but in evolution, female are 30,000 years more than men. That means during the first evolution of life on Earth, female were able to produce children without men. It was an endogamy. And then it is the symbol or the documentation that women are older than men. For that reason, we say probably they have more potentialities. Archaeologists and anthropologists are speaking about the first Eva, the primeval Eva. And then also, there is more genetic information on the DNA. I don't know what it is in English, DNA. ADN. More information on the genetic heritage in women. For example, there is DNA ADN in named the mitochondrial DNA. That means female, and then it's passed from female to female. Okay, and then there is this richness that is discovered by scientists, but nobody can maybe think this is true because there are suppositions studied along the Darwin schedules. Probably if someone doesn't think Darwin is true, probably think that these information are not true. But there is some the ADN is saying that to us. Probably it's also a question of religion thinking that is true, the female is born before the male or later. The solution is that probably we are now in a kind of cultural revolution. Cultural revolution because we discovered that economy depends on culture, not like before we thought that cultural depended on economy, but it's the opposite. The fact is that culture is the only way to progress. And also, this is also changing the politics about migrations, because instead of thinking that economic evolution is becoming through migration toward rich countries, it's better than people stay at home in order to progress at home, in order to let their countries to progress, to evolve, working there, and giving them to the people staying there, giving them the means to evolve, usually through the first base of education, because we know in many countries, in Africa, for example, there isn't any kind of primary education, even primary. But if people without education migrate toward a rich country, cannot be fruitful, not for the countries accepting them, not for the left country at home, left country back, because country lose their forces and they are not able to insert in the rich countries because they have any culture, they have any means to work, to experience in another country. They cannot compete with people informed, with people with high technologies, because they are not able to write, for example. And also, in order, also because if they leave their countries, they leave children alone. If people migrate in their 20s, in their 30s, they leave children, they leave old people at their country, dying because of not. And then if they gain more in a richer countries, they spend more. Okay. And for that reason, OECD, at the Center of Paris Cooperation and Evolution and Economic Cooperation, is saying that, for example, $1 of human cooperation spent in poor countries, or $1 spent in accepting countries, emigrati accepting countries, is 160 times more important in originating countries, and then it's more important to evolve directly in every country. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Professor. University of Shkodra has started a strong collaboration with the metropolitan state of Denver, USA since 2010. Professor Margaret Fraser is going to make a short presentation of our collaboration during these years. The floor is for you.
Thank you, Gerard. I am overjoyed to be back at the University of Shkodra for the 5th time since 2008, and I'm sure you're overjoyed. I am the last speaker, and I have already cut out most of my speech. I am just going to hit the high points. It's just an honor to present at this conference. A couple things at our university. We have some exciting new developments at Metropolitan State University of Colorado in Denver. We have started a new aviation engineering and sciences building, which is state-of-the-art. But the really exciting thing is we have just opened a new International Teacher Education Center. And its vision is to provide a venue for teacher educators from around the world to come to our university. We are writing grants to try and make this happen. We have had with the University of Shkodra at least 5 visits back and forth with our faculty, and we signed an MOU, a Memorandum of Understanding with the University of Shkodra. It is a very important thing. We only partner with a few universities around the world, and this is one of them. And we just renewed it literally last week, and our president signed it. He's been over here twice, and we're very excited about presenting this partnership again in hopes that it will be signed by the University of Shkodra. And the last visit that our president had was for your 50th anniversary celebration. And right now, we are celebrating our university's 50th year. And our president, Jordan, has told me to personally invite each one of you from the University of Shkodra. He would be delighted to host you all in Denver this coming year. It is a milestone for us, and we are celebrating all year long. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor, for the invitation. So this is the end of this plenary session. We will go on with the parallel session. Thank you for your attention.